Greetings, YouTube. The Doctor is in. Dr. Urias Papers here, coming at you with another commentary on Dungeons & Dragons. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you like this video. Hit the like button. And if you have any questions or comments, please leave a question or comment. All right, it's time for another installment of the Dr. Spell Prognosis. And today we're talking about the spell Detect Thoughts. So, I'm giving this spell a solid B. It's not really a combat spell, but it is a near combat spell or a near out of combat spell. And what I mean by that is near combat spells are used close to combat, and near out of combat means it can be used once you get out of combat, or in some role-playing situations. So it is a second level spell that is usable by bards, sorcerers, wizards, and the great old one warlocks. So we got a nice coverage of all of the different kind of arcane casters here. Warlocks are included, wizards, sorcerers, bards, etc., etc. So it is a one-action spell. It does require a verbal, somatic, and material component, which is just a little copper piece of wire, or you can use your arcane focus. It has a duration of 1 minute with a concentration. This is kind of the concentration part of this is not something that affects the spell too much because of its nature of casting it outside of combat. It's the divination. It is a wisdom saving throw, which is not the best of the three mentals, but for the spell and for you as the person casting the spell. But most things have a pretty horrid wisdom bonus, and if you've tricked out your saving throw for this, it should be okay. So, for 1 minute, you can read thoughts of certain creatures. You can use an action into your turn, and you can focus on a creature within 30 feet. And this doesn't work if the creature has an intelligence of 3 or lower, or doesn't speak any language. Doesn't have to speak your language, it just has to not speak a language. So it doesn't work on, most beasts and things like that. Insects, things like that. So you initially get some surfer thoughts. I mean, what is most on its mind at that moment, what's at the top. And that doesn't require a saving throw, and it won't know that you're doing that. As an action, you can shift to another creature to get the surface thoughts of another creature, or you can go deeper into the creature's mind, and it has to make a saving throw at that point. If it fails, it says you gain insight into its reasoning, its emotional state, and something that looms large in its mind. If it succeeds, the spell ends. Either way, it knows that you're doing it. Once you say, I'm going deeper, it knows you're doing that. Unless you shift your thoughts to another creature. The creature can use this action to make an intelligence check contested by your intelligence check. If it succeeds, the spell ends. So, you can, if it fails, you get some deeper insight, and then an intelligence check is made to end the spell, and then you can keep going. I think one of the best things in this next sentence is kind of captures this the most. The best thing about this spell is if you've got if you're interrogating somebody, Detect Thoughts is a great thing to use. So questions verbally directed at the target naturally shape the course of its thoughts, so this spell is particularly effective as part of interrogation, of course. I like this next part of the spell very much, and this is one of the reasons why I'm giving it a B. You can use this spell to detect the presence of thinking creatures you cannot see. So, you can search for thoughts within 30 feet, and you can penetrate barriers. 2 feet of rock, that is a lot of rock. 2 feet is a lot. 2 inches of any metal other than lead, so you can't go through lead, or a thin sheet of lead. And you can't detect a creature with an intelligence of 3 or lower. It doesn't become. Once you detect them, then you can start probing even more. So you could get up to a door, and you could try to detect thoughts in the next room within 30 feet. And if you detect anything, they won't know that you're doing it. So you can say, yes, there's something in there. You detect the presence of thinking creatures you can't see. So it doesn't say that you detect like the number. It just says you detect the presence. Once you detect a presence or more than one presence, then you can start to use Detect Thoughts in the way that it is described above, which would be really good. And I think that's the best use of this spell, is to have somebody go up to a door if you don't know what's behind there, and to do the detect thoughts. It lasts for an entire minute, so you can keep going, and then you can start probing once you detect something and you can figure out what's in the room. Giving you that near combat experience. So I think that's the important thing. And the second best thing for this is, of course, the role-playing interrogation when you need to get information. That's the really big one. So, all right, that's what I got for everybody today. I appreciate everybody tuning in, and I will catch everybody later.